And then when I started out in Fort Worth, Texas on October 26th, all I was hoping was there will be some people along the road will stop to look at the monks. Just some, not many people. And that is the reason why when we started out, I only brought like 1,000 pieces of the peace bracelet. And guess how much we have passed out by now? Over 100,000 of peace bracelet we have passed out. Each and every day when we walk from Texas, again, not many people knows about our walk in Texas. That is why when people saw us and they say, oh, we don't know that monks exist in Texas. And then after the accident, then people start to know more about it. I don't know why, but when we walk for peace, not many people pay attention to it. But when we run into an accident, something that is not nice at all, then people start to know much more about it. And then people start to come out on the road, alongside of the road to welcome the monks. And from there, just keep growing and growing every day. And regardless of weekdays or weekend, and of course weekends, way a lot more people, right? Just yesterday itself, everywhere, people everywhere. We don't even have a place to walk. They block us all. So they come out to block us. And so with this audience gave me a chance to share what I have learned and practiced, which is mindfulness. And that is the thing that I've been practicing for so many years, to have peace for myself. In our traditions, if we want to share something with the other people, we have to have it. Without having it, we cannot share it to anybody. One of the lady came to me on this walk, during this walk, and she said, I have practiced loving kindness meditation for a while. But Venerable Sir, I don't know why I still cannot have peace, and I don't know why I cannot have loving kindness. And my teacher asked me to share that loving kindness to the others. But based on my understanding, I cannot share because I don't have it. So what have I done wrong? I say, you're correct, because if you don't have it, you cannot share, you cannot give. If you want to give me a bottle of water, you have to have a bottle of water within your hand first, right? Same thing as the practicing loving kindness. You have to radiate that. You have to share that loving kindness within yourself first. Once you feel calm and cool and feel submerged with all that loving kindness for yourself, then that is the time when you think of the other person to share it. Without that, there's no way. And so, for us to practice, for us to walk on this journey to share with you the key of mindfulness we've been practicing a lot. For the life of the monks, we study, we practice every day. Without gaining knowledge and wisdom, there's no way that we could help the others. And the temple is where a lot of people come to ask for help, to look for help, to seek for guidance. And that is why I said, I have seen so much suffering around me. So much. Nowadays, a lot of teenagers. Beside the adults, we have a lot of teenagers. They are suffering deeply. And they come to the temple and look for help. And of course, some of them, they will be able to get back on their legs, start to go back to their normal life. And of course, some of them, they could not, because they are really in a deep depression mode where they have to depend on medications. Right? And we don't want that. And I know that it's going to have more and more each and every day. Imagine this life when we live in this world. We have so much thing going on. And there's so much thing going on within this head, within this mind. You're not talking about those things outside. And of course, outside things, when we recorded it, when we see it, when we witness this, and it's recorded into our mind, right? So we live with those. That is why we suffer. That is why we cannot have a happy moment, happy life. And that is when anxiety and depression begins. And they have no other ways to look for help except go to the hospital and take medications. But mindfulness practicing is something that could help, could cure. Not just help, but also can cure anxiety, stress, and depression as well. Because mindfulness practicing is something that we need to come back within ourselves. To see our breath. To see our breath, that's all we need to do. We've been living in this society, in this world, without seeing our breath. We chase in the materialities, we chase in the outside world. We are way too busy chasing. Because this world is spinning so fast. Right? When it's spinning so fast, and we try to chase after it because we are afraid that we will be left behind. And the more we chase, the more we run, the more we will get tired and frustrated and suffer. But we cannot realize those. We keep on chasing because we need to earn to support ourselves and our family members. We never know when is enough for us. That is when the problems start. Because we don't know when is enough. We have this and we want that. One of the stories that I shared already. The lady who saw me holding my book, my first book, when I walk, and then she sit on the bench outdoor with her grandchildren. And then when she saw me walking, and she just followed right behind me. When I turned around, I asked, "Is there anything that I can help you?" And she started to cry and asked, "Venerable Sir, how much is that book cost? I want to read." And I said, "No, this is not for sale. My book is to give, not for sale. So if you want to read, I'm happy to give this book to you. I can sign it and then present it to you as a gift." And she said, "No, Venerable Sir, because you are a monk. You're a Buddhist monk, you don't have money. How can you print it and then gift it out? It costs a lot." I say, "Don't worry about it, because when I print these books, I have sponsors. I have people who offer. Let's say that people offer 5 books, that people offer 10 books, something like that. So I have enough to share this book for you. So if you want to read, I can send it, I can give it to you." And then she started to cry more and more. And then I asked her to sit down. When she sat down, and she started to crack down. And then she asked me a question. "Venerable Sir, how come am I so poor? The shirt that I'm wearing, the sandal that I'm wearing, is that gifted from the others. I don't even have enough money just to go to see the doctor. In the middle of the night, I was hurt so bad, in pain. I wanted to go to see the doctor really bad, but I couldn't afford it. How come I am so poor this way, and am I gonna live like this for the rest of my life and die like this? How can I change?" That's what she asked me. I looked at her and I said, "Let me ask you something. When you hold a bunch, this much of sticky rice in your hand, and when you have this much of sticky rice, you like more, or you feel that is enough?" She said, "Of course, we always want to have more." I said, That is the reason why you suffer. That is the reason why you are being poor. Poor versus rich is not about material. If you happy with what you have within your hand, with that much of sticky rice, you be the richest person in this world. But if you hold this much of gold on your hand, and you still not knowing that is enough, and you still want to have more and more and more, you are the poorest person in this world. It doesn't matter what you have. It's the matter of you know how to accept it or not. If you cannot accept that much of sticky rice, you suffer. Because you want more. The more you want, the more you have to head out there and try to do everything to fight for it, to get more and more and more, and you don't even have time to breathe. Ask yourself, how many days in our life that we've been chasing and rushing without time to look back within ourselves, to look back to see our breath. Sometimes we couldn't even catch our breath. Is that right? And the more we chase after it, because we always want to be rich, we always want to have so much things versus the other people. When people have this, you want to have that. Because you always compare yourself with the others. You get tired. And of course, the more you head it out there, the more you try to achieve your goal, try to be rich, the more you be suffer. Because not knowing when is enough is suffering. So if you're willing to accept that much of sticky rice within your hand, you will live happily. And that is when you connect, that is when you build the bridge for all those wholesome deeds that you have cultivated and created in many lives in the past to come to you. In order for your wholesome deeds to come to you, all those meritorious deeds that you have cultivated in many lives to come to you, your mind have to be pure, without defilements. When that mind is always suffer, always wanted so much thing, I want this, I want that, I hate this, I don't like that, so on and so on. When our mind is full with delusions and defilements, that only brings all the bad things to come to us. That is why you've been poor day after day, because you live with that mindset every single day. You cannot accept what you currently have. With that mind not accepting it, you just only attract all those unwholesome things to come to you. But once you clear all those and have a peaceful mind, happy with what you have, it means that you build the bridges for all the good things, all the good fortune to come to you. Because you have created, we have been born many life infinity. Not just this one lifetime, right? So when you, every single lifetime, you create wholesome things and unwholesome things, you should do something for the wholesome things to come to you instead. Because when we live with delusion mind, when we live with all kind of sufferings mind, that cannot help you at all, that cannot support you at all. They are people billionaire, and they just went broke within seconds. There are people really poor, but they become billionaires within a second. You would never know. But don't expect anything. Don't expect anything in this world, even peace. If we expect the other people to bring peace to us, it's not going to happen. Right? It's not going to happen if we sit in here and expect something from the others. We just have to work for our own. And peace is something that is always begins from within. Usher.
Doctor.
Medic.
Medic, yep. Yep.
I saw the official already went that way. Medic is on behind the stage. Okay, everybody, let's pay attention here. We cannot do anything. Please make a way for the doctor to come. Everybody else, please stay calm. Okay, let us all do this one thing for me. Put your left hand over your heart. Your right hand on top of your left hand. Gently close your eyes. Pay full attention to each and every heartbeat. Just focus on your heartbeat. Feel it.
When the journey first began on the dusty roads of Fort Worth, Texas, in late October, the expectations were beautifully modest. The intention was simple: to walk, to breathe, and perhaps to share a quiet moment of connection with a few souls who might happen to pause along the roadside. A single monk, accompanied by nothing more than 1,000 humble peace bracelets, stepped out into the vast American landscape. Yet, life possesses a miraculous way of expanding our smallest seeds of goodwill into forests of collective healing. Today, over 100,000 of those bracelets encircle the wrists of people from all walks of life. What started in the quiet shadows blossomed into a moving river of humanity. But it is profoundly telling how this transformation occurred. At first, the peaceful, steady rhythm of the monks went largely unnoticed. It was only when an accident took place, something sudden, disruptive, and far from peaceful, that the eyes of the public finally turned their way. Is this not the very story of our own lives? We so often drift past the quiet, steady presence of harmony, completely ignoring the gentle grace that surrounds us every day. It is usually only when the jarring collisions of life shatter our routine that we suddenly wake up and look around. When tragedy or chaos strikes, our hearts ache for comfort, and we pour out onto the streets of our own lives, desperate to find an anchor. The massive crowds that eventually came out to welcome the monks, blocking the very paths they were walking, were not just spectators. They were a profound reflection of a society deeply, achingly hungry for peace. Amidst these growing crowds, a woman stepped forward with a question that echoes the hidden struggle of so many compassionate hearts. She had been diligently practicing loving-kindness meditation, sitting in quiet spaces, repeating the ancient phrases of goodwill. Her teachers had instructed her to radiate this love out into the wounded world. Yet, as she stood before the Venerable, she confessed a painful truth: she felt entirely hollow. She could not find peace within herself, and she felt entirely incapable of sharing a love she did not possess. "What have I done wrong?" she asked, her voice tinged with the familiar guilt of those who try so hard to be good but feel they are failing. The answer she received was not a correction, but a profound and gentle liberation. You cannot give what you do not have. If someone comes to you thirsty, asking for a drink, you must first be holding a bottle of water in your own hands. We live in a culture that constantly demands we pour ourselves out for our families, our careers, and our communities. We are taught to be endless reservoirs of support, yet we are rarely taught how to fill our own wells. To truly practice loving kindness, we must first direct that warmth inward. We must submerge ourselves in our own forgiveness, calm our own restless spirits, and allow ourselves to feel cool, rested, and whole. Only from that overflow of genuine inner tranquility can we ever hope to quench the thirst of the world. Yet, cultivating this inner oasis feels nearly impossible when we are caught in the relentless, breathless sprint of modern life. As the Venerable looked out at the faces of the people, he noted the profound depths of suffering that define our times, particularly among our youth. Teenagers and adults alike are carrying invisible, crushing weights, arriving at the temple doors desperately seeking a way out of the dark. We are living in a world that spins at a dizzying, terrifying speed. To survive it, we believe we must run just as fast, chasing after material success, societal approval, and the elusive promise of a secure future. We are terrified of being left behind. But the faster we chase, the more exhausted, frustrated, and deeply entangled in suffering we become. Our minds become cluttered, hyperactive recorders of every external demand, every news headline, every comparison. We run so hard that we forget to witness our own breath. We lose the rhythm of our own lungs. It is in this frantic, breathless space that anxiety and depression take root and thrive, leaving so many feeling that heavy medication is their only remaining lifeline. But there is a cure, a gentle turning of the tide that requires no prescription. Mindfulness is the radical, quiet rebellion of stopping the chase. It is the simple, profound act of coming back to the home of our own bodies, closing the door to the spinning world outside, and resting in the simple miracle of an inhale and an exhale. The exhaustion of this endless chase ultimately leaves us feeling profoundly impoverished, regardless of what we actually own. This spiritual poverty was laid bare in a deeply moving encounter with a grandmother who followed the Venerable just to ask about the book he was holding. When told the book was a free gift, sponsored by the generosity of others, she broke down in tears, collapsing onto a nearby bench. Through her sobs, she poured out the heavy grief of her life. She wore hand-me-down clothes, walked in gifted sandals, and was forced to suffer through the night with severe physical pain because she simply could not afford to see a doctor. "Why am I so poor?" she pleaded. "Am I going to die like this?" Her pain was real, visceral, and heart-wrenching. But the Venerable offered her a mirror that shifted the very definition of wealth. He asked her to imagine holding a small handful of sticky rice. "If you have that rice," he asked, "do you naturally want more?" "Of course," she replied. "That insatiable desire," he gently explained, "is the true root of poverty. Wealth is not a calculation of material assets, it is a condition of the heart. If you can look at a humble handful of sticky rice, accept it fully, and feel true gratitude, you instantly become the richest person in the world. Conversely, you could hold a glittering handful of gold, but if your mind is tormented by the belief that it is not enough, you are trapped in the most desolate poverty imaginable. Our suffering arises the moment we refuse to accept what is resting right there in our open hands. This refusal to accept our present reality does more than just make us unhappy. It actively shapes the very fabric of our lives. In the deep wisdom of the mindfulness tradition, our mindset acts as a powerful, invisible magnet. When our minds are clouded with defilements, when we are endlessly complaining, holding on to hatred, resenting what we lack, and frantically grasping for more, we emit a frequency of lack and delusion. This turbulent energy naturally attracts unwholesome experiences, keeping us trapped in a cycle of frustration and bad fortune. We essentially build walls around ourselves that keep goodness at bay. However, the moment we choose to clear the clutter, to breathe deeply and accept our handful of sticky rice with a peaceful and pure heart, something miraculous happens. We begin to build bridges. We have all walked through countless lifetimes, cultivating beautiful, wholesome, and meritorious deeds along the way. But for those blessings to reach us in the here and now, the path must be clear. A pure, accepting mind acts as a beautifully engineered bridge, allowing all the good fortune, serendipity, and grace we have ever earned to finally cross over and find us. When we stop fighting reality, we create the very conditions for miracles to arrive. The profound truth we must eventually awaken to is that no one else can build this bridge for us. It is a solo architecture of the soul. If we spend our days sitting in the waiting room of life, expecting other people to hand us our peace, we will be waiting in eternity. We expect our spouses to say the perfect words, our bosses to recognize our worth, our politicians to fix the world, and our circumstances to perfectly align so that we can finally exhale. It is a tragic illusion. The world will always be unpredictable, people will always be beautifully flawed, and circumstances will endlessly shift like the tides. Peace is not something that is delivered to us, it is a sovereign territory we must fiercely and lovingly cultivate from within. We must take up the tools of mindfulness and do the quiet, noble work of tending to our own minds. We must stop demanding that the storm outside calm down, and instead learn how to be the anchor in the center of our own ocean. Peace is a daily, personal commitment, and it begins the exact moment we stop looking outward and finally turn our loving attention inward. And it is precisely in the center of the storm where this inner anchor is tested and proven true. Teachings of peace are easy to absorb when the air is still and the sun is shining, but true mindfulness is built for the moments when the ground beneath us suddenly shakes. As the Venerable was sharing these very words of wisdom, the chaotic reality of the physical world dramatically intruded. Somewhere in the gathered crowd, a medical emergency broke out. Voices shouted for a doctor. The energy in the air shifted instantly from calm reflection to sharp, jagged anxiety. People began to panic, unsure of what to do as the medics rushed behind the stage. But the Venerable did not match the panic of the crowd, nor did he let them drown in their fear. With the steady, grounded presence of a mountain, he asked the immense crowd to do just one thing. "Put your left hand over your heart," he instructed, his voice a calm tether in the frightening wind. "Your right hand on top of your left hand. Gently close your eyes." He did not ask them to fix the emergency or to worry about the future. He brought them back to the only sacred space they could control. Pay full attention to each and every heartbeat. Just focus on your heartbeat. Feel it. In that profound, suspended moment, thousands of rushing minds were brought instantly home to the body. This is the ultimate promise of our spiritual journey. No matter how wildly the world spins, no matter what tragedies or fears unfold in the space around us, we always possess a quiet refuge just beneath our own ribs. If we can just remember to stop the chase, place a hand over our chest, and feel the faithful, rhythmic beating of our own heart, we will realize that peace has been walking with us all along.